What's wrong with you people?
Welcome to Not Another Baptist Podcast. And if you are looking for trustworthy Christian higher education that equips you to think biblically, reason truthfully, and share God's word effectively, Texas Baptist College is the place for you. TBC focus is Christ-centered, scripture-driven, and student-focused. And the best way to experience TBC is to attend its spring preview day on March 31st. You will get to tour the campus, speak with faculty, chat with fellow students, and experience the unique campus community of Texas Baptist College during Spring Preview Day. Again, that is March 39th. No, not March 31st. And you can register today at texasbaptistcollege.com/preview. And today, Kyle...
Don't show up March 39th.
Yeah,
no one will
show up March 39th, if it's even possible. But anyway, that's going to be my first grievance, is my inability to read and comprehend simple sentences. But Kyle, in a moment, we're going to share our grievances.
Yes.
It's that time of year again. Happy Festivus, everybody.
Happy Festivus.
First,
and this goes live on Festivus. It's the best.
It is. It's kind of a wonderful thing. That's one of my grievances, too, is I hate when a plan comes together so well. Anyway, before we do, Christmas has not technically happened, but we have gotten some Christmas gifts.
Yeah.
And you got a Christmas gift from your brother, which was kind of funny because I thought, like you said, my brother or my bro totally got me. And I took that to mean like he pulled your leg and he found this video of somebody that loved a Kyle nice enough for this to happen. But instead, it was actually from your brother to you, Kyle, non-alcoholic beerman. And what was that gift?
Yeah, so actually, I guess it was an early birthday gift because I turned 40 in May, and so my brother got a video through the app of Cameo, where you can get like celebrities, I guess minor celebrities, right? Like I haven't seen Brad Pitt on there or anything, but minor celebrities, and he got Dan Plesac, who played Major League Baseball, is now on MLB Network, doing a video explaining that for my 40th birthday, he is taking me to 3 major league ballparks. And those 3 major league ballparks are Yankee Stadium, Citi Field, which is where the Mets play, and Fenway Park. And so actually, as we're recording this on Thursday, we're going to hammer out details today and book that trip. And so, yeah, it's pretty exciting. I'm as we've talked ad nauseum on here before, we're both big baseball fans, and Fenway Park and Yankee Stadium are both kind of on my, on the bucket list of things I want to see. So really excited about it.
Now I do have a couple of questions.
Okay.
You are going to be going, but at first, the first question is the obvious one. This wasn't just Plesac or whatever, however you say his name. This wasn't just him saying, making up that you're going to go to these places and you're not actually going to these. He didn't just give you this video and make you think this. This is actually going to happen. The second question is if that's the case, you are going with your brother, not this guy.
Right, correct. I'm going with my brother.
So
yeah. Cody
basically gifted himself a trip because he knows that you have NAM money, and so you're going to be buying the whole time. So that's what I think.
Yeah, he gifted himself a trip, and I get to tag along for my birthday. So
now, are you going to plan it well enough to be able to see the 2-time World Series champion Astros play these teams?
I don't think so, because our schedule is, if everything works out, we're actually going to catch a afternoon game at either Yankee Stadium or Citi Field, and then an evening game at the other one. And so we're going to see 2 games in one day, and then a couple days later we're going to head to Boston and watch the Red Sox. So there's a very few limited windows where we can make all of those things happen.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a very whirlwind trip, but
have fun with that. I have zero desire ever to be in New York.
See, New York's on my bucket list. I mean, it's going to be, there's not going to be like Broadway, or there's not going to be sightseeing, but it will be a lot of fun to be there. And sure, Yankee Stadium's going to be, I'm sure, incredible. So
yeah, okay. Anyway, hopefully they have the Goldilocks baseballs when you're there. But oh man,
You got a gift too, though.
yeah. So speaking of getting people your own gift, so to back up a little bit, most people that have been with the podcast for a while know that my dad passed away in February this year. And to back up even further than that, about every 2 years, my dad worked for a dealership after he retired, and about every 2 years, as long as I can remember, he would get the new pickup truck, and he was always so proud of the new pickup truck. If there was any kind of a new color that came out or anything in addition to the norm, he would always get that. And at some point, they came out with the high country, and that was a little above kind of where he was ever really comfortable paying. But when he turned 80, he knew he was going to be wrapping up at the dealership, and so he went ahead and he went all in on a 2018 Silverado High Country in white. This is also the last year that they did the saddle leather, which was a thing for the King Ranch and
Yeah.
the High Country pickups, and I think they have some other ones. But that saddle leather, real brown, beautiful leather, and on the High Country, kind of this off white piping around. It was a beautiful truck, and my dad maybe put 200 miles on it
Huh.
because shortly after he turned 80, he fell and broke his ribs and was largely kind of confined to his recliner after that, and kind of declined very quickly. And so it stayed in the garage. And then when I was doing my doctorate, I put about 1,000 miles on it, driving to Southwestern every time. And so it was kind of my truck when I was there. However, eventually they had to put him in the nursing home, and that was an amount of money that was kind of just sitting there in the garage. And so mom sold it, and that was right about the time that I got my Corvette. So it wasn't really at the time to sell and try and get it. And so I don't know. Shortly after he passed away, I got on Auto Trader and I set up one of those like email alerts. If you ever find, and you can make it so specific. So like 200 miles, less than 45,000 miles on it. So 2,000 miles away, and less than 45,000 miles white. Of course, the saddle leather, the High Country, same everything as my dad's year, all of that kind of stuff. Nothing. Never got an email, nothing. You might be interested in this, and they would send something, like a Kia Sorrento, but never the truck. And then this past weekend, two pop up, one in Arlington, one in Granbury, which is about 2 hours away with traffic. And so I kind of go through the whole rigmarole. I've got my car, a Mach 1, and I had some equity in that. And so I was pretty content with what I was going to get and pretty settled on what I was going to get. Fast forward, we don't have to go into all the haggling and the negotiation side, where that's where I kind of take off the Christian hat for a little bit and become very mean. No, I'm just kidding. But very direct in what I will expect and all of that kind of stuff. Anyway, yesterday, so we're recording on Thursday. This is going live on Friday. So 2 days ago, I guess, I had Cadence with me. We did a funeral that morning, and then we hopped in the car and drove to Granbury, Texas. We did all of the we kind of did all of the finance stuff as I was driving. Like, yes, I declined that, I declined that, I declined that, and I'll take that, and kind of went through all that stuff. So I had everything set. So all I had to do was walk in, sign all the papers, sign all of that stuff. They handed me the keys, and I was out the door. And I didn't tell my mom what I was doing. I did ask if I could take her to dinner, and I showed up at the house in Dad's truck, and we both cried and cried and cried.
Yeah,
And so
that's
it was
great.
so we're going to change subject because I'm already getting a little
Yep.
emotional right now. But got
Yes.
Dad's pickup truck, and really excited about it, and got a great deal on it. Art Rayner would be proud. I shortened my note from the dreadfully long note on the Mach 1, and cut it about in a fourth, I guess.
Nice.
So 40, what's the after 60? 40, is it 48? I
I
guess
don't know.
40 months,
Sure.
and good payment.
Nice.
Cut off about I think about almost $200 off of my payment.
Cool.
So we're in that season now of we're gonna have to start thinking about cars for the girls and certainly insurance for their cars, that
Yep.
kind of deal. And so this is great on that side. And I'm in Dad's pickup truck with low miles and all of that kind of stuff. And
That's
so
great.
condition. Not I couldn't find anything on it. A little bit of road rash on one of the rims. That was it. And so I am pumped. Happy Christmas,
That's awesome.
birthday, anniversary,
That-
everything to me. So
Matt, that was very sentimental and a very sweet way to start the podcast that is now going to devolve very quickly
it is.
as
So
we
we
as we observe Festivus and air our grievances.
yes, we have a lot of problems with you people, and
And
you're
now
about
you're
to
going to
hear
hear
about
about it.
it. So it starts with a person, and his name is. I'm just kidding. So what's your first one, man?
My first one, Matt, and you've already mentioned them today. My first grievance is with the Houston Astros, for
Because
any
we're
number of
great.
reasons that have already been discussed. But I loathe their existence. If it wasn't for my brother, I would say that Houston could drop off the face of the planet, but he lives there, so
Well,
it's
then
kind of
I could
important.
go with you on this trip.
Yeah, the Houston Astros are my first for their lying, cheating, no good, scandalous ways, and also because they're so dang good. But they're my first grievance. What's your first one?
Uh, probably, probably the not the Yankees, the New York Mets.
Okay, why
However,
is it? Oh,
because they spent like $1 billion to try and
billion, half
fix
a billion, literally half a billion. Yeah.
the Astros, but I have to give them credit. At like 3 a.m., after all the announcements, season ticket packages are sold with Correa's picture on it and all of that stuff. Suddenly, he's no longer a San Francisco
Yep.
Giant. Now
After
he's a New
6
York
hours or
Met.
something like that. Yeah.
And the fact that he's not a Yankee is top of the hill for me. Like, I'm really thrilled about that. So I don't know. Like, I'm just like, man, like you took Verlander anyway. So
Yep.
that's going to be mine.
Yep. All right. All right. That makes sense. Well, I'm actually very pleased with these folks overall. However, after the last 2 weeks, the Dallas Cowboys are on my grievance list. For one, because they very nearly lost to the Houston Texans, and then they did turn around. Gosh, who'd they lose to last week? Again,
Jaguars.
yes, that's right, the Jaguars, um, and are now um, facing a Christmas Eve showdown with the Philadelphia Eagles, best team in the division, best team I think in the NFL, and so that grievance could go away on Christmas Eve, or it could ruin Christmas as well. So we'll see how that goes. But
Yeah.
the Cowboys, I'm happy overall, but the way they've played the last 2 weeks, they have a grievance because they're dashing my Super Bowl hopes here, Matt.
Yes. Okay. My next one is going to be boyfriends. I don't have a boyfriend,
Ooh.
obviously, but my daughters do, and two of them. And so just that in general, just that whole thing, that's a grievance. That's
Yes, I agree.
for me.
Teenage years in general are kind of a
Yeah.
grievance.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of good that
I
happens, but
I nearly posted that thing that we've said before. I decided not to because I want everybody that listens to this to know that I'm actually joking, sort of. But I was afraid that it wouldn't on Twitter. But basically, it's that encouragement for the parent of the young toddler that's just screaming uncontrollably on aisle 6 right now. Like, don't worry, it changes, but not for the better. It gets worse, horrifyingly worse, like terrifyingly worse. I hope this encourages you. Like, I wanted to tweet that, but I was like, somebody's going to get upset.
this
Yeah.
is
So
as good as it gets.
yeah, the teenage years, I do love them. The conversations you can have,
Yeah.
digging deep into the word and discipleship, all of that is wonderful, but all of the drama that comes with it,
Yep.
and the fact that you can just look at them the wrong way or just respond the wrong, like not even respond with a word, but like if it's not like immediate approval or it comes across as some kind of disapproval or something, like you set them off, not for
Yeah.
the day, but for like a week.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's going to be one
Here,
for me.
my number three. Let's do five total. So my number third one is going to piggyback off of that because I know you are in this season as well, and that is driver's ed. Driver's
Oh,
ed is a grievance. Noah got his permit about 2 weeks ago, And so we've let him, not driving in Lubbock, obviously, not driving out like on the highway, but kind of around our neighborhood. And he drove us to Starbucks yesterday, which is like on the outskirts of Lubbock. And for the most part, it's been fine. But there have been a couple of moments of sheer terror. And I'm sure there are more to come as he learns the ways of the road. So driver's ed is a grievance.
Oh man, does it give you any kind of special appreciation for your mom and dad? Like,
So,
I
you know,
remember distinctly being 15 or whatever and going with my mom, and we were like, I think I was just about to maybe go get my permit or whatever it was, and she was going to let me drive to Wagner Park. This was like less than a mile from the house, and I was just going to drive there and back. And this woman like screams at the top of her lungs when I would get close to the curb or close to the line or whatever. And I'm like, I don't want to drive if you're going to be yelling all the time. And then I put my daughter in a 470 horsepower Mustang, which is not the best car to probably learn how to
yeah,
drive in. And like she hits the gas and like gave me
yep.
a concussion. And I'm like, "Oh my gosh." So I turned into my mom
So,
immediately.
so
So,
my dad did a lot of that. So my dad was a farmer, and he passed away now almost 12 years ago. So the statute of limitations, I think, has passed on this. Um, but I started driving when I was like 11
yeah.
on the farm. I would help him move tractors from place to place and follow behind him in the pickup. Um, and my kids just haven't had that, right? I mean, we live in the city, and so that hasn't happened. Um, I feel like I keep my cool for the most part, until like you kind of see the stop sign approaching, and it's like, all right, he's gonna slow down. He needs to slow down. No, you need to slow down. You need to slow down. Stop. And then you said, then go back and forth, give yourself whiplash. So yeah, my dad, I mean, there was like a span of, I don't know, 3 or 4 years where I was kind of learning to drive with him. But it is a whole new experience being in the passenger seat with absolutely zero control
So,
whatsoever.
I will say that was what was kind of nice about the Mustang is we did all of that with my hand gripping the emergency brake. I was just, like when you go and you do the actual driver's ed thing, you're in that car that's like has like 2 steering wheels or whatever, or 2
And then
brakes.
they've got the brake, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like that's what I need in this moment, but I'm like, "I don't have that, and you're completely out of control." I'm like, "Oh, there's an emergency brake right there. If I have to, it's not great to do this, but if I have to, I can yank that for dear life, and we're going to stop." But yeah, so there was that. And so with that, it would also be, daughters that don't know their difference between the left and the right hand. Like, somehow still, like, she's, like, trying to figure it out. I'm like, "Press go left." Which way is that?" I'm like, "Seriously?" So, okay, what's your number 4?
My number 4, is Twitter specifically and social media, in general. So
Probably a yearly edition for us.
yes, yeah, we should just make this a staple. Folks just get dumb on Twitter, and they argue about all kinds of things, and if there's nothing to argue about, they're gonna find something to argue about, and it's just kind of created this perpetual anger.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, angst and anger in in folks where they feel like for some reason they feel like we've got to police everything that happens in personal lives in churches. um and I don't think that's healthy. I don't think that's healthy for local churches. I don't think that's healthy for associations, state conventions, then certainly not on the national level.
yeah,
And so because I think we've lost one of the things that the social media has done, at least that aspect of it, is we've lost the ability to give the benefit of the doubt, or if not the ability, we've lost the willingness, I should say, to give the benefit of the doubt. And anything we see that we disagree with, it's got to be, oh, this person probably isn't even saved because they're doing this differently than I would do it. So that is maybe a more heavy grievance, a more legit grievance than some of
yeah,
the things we've talked about.
yeah. My number 4 is probably going to be, and I want everybody that this might step on a toe, to hear this in love and know that there are circumstances out of some's control, but canceling worship on Christmas Day. Don't do it. It's too late now, but happy birthday, Jesus. Sorry your birthday's so lame.
Nice Office reference there. I like it.
What's your number 5?
My number 5 is very specific to where I am at this very moment, and that is the cold.
Ha!
It is currently, let me see, it is currently 14 degrees with a wind chill of -3. Now, I'm sure we have some folks who live up north who are facing wind chills of like -45 or whatever and are like, get over it. But listen, I'm in the South. I'm in Texas. We don't have in fact, the last time we had this kind of cold spell, the world broke. and, and last time there was this kind of cold spell in Texas, like literally pipes were bursting everywhere. We avoided that because we were in New Mexico at the time, but now we're both back in Texas, and it's cold, and we are not built for the cold in Texas.
Yeah, that was going to be my number 5 as well, is specifically because I've been losing weight. So I'm going to give a bonus number 5 since I'm stealing yours. But I've been losing weight, and part of doing that has been running and walking every day. And I was absolutely killing it this month because it was a December that was great. I mean, we had great weather up into the 70s, it'd be 40 in the morning, which is perfect running weather. And it's a little cold for a walk, but it's perfect for running. And so I would usually end the day with another walk. And so I would end each of these days with like 14,000, 15,000 steps. And then I'm like looking, I'm keeping track of it on my little health app and all that kind of stuff. And they're all up there average, of like 14,000. And then like the next 2 days, it's going to be in the single digits. And I don't care about my weight that much to be out in that. And so I'll be walking inside the house, like back and forth between bedrooms or something.
Well, and the issue that we have here is not just cold. Cold is one thing, but when you tack wind onto it, it just becomes so. We've got about a 20-mile-an-hour wind right now. We're going to top out around 20 degrees today, which means that wind chill will probably hover around 0 for most of the day.
Yeah.
And,
so my actual grievance then is going to be the fact that sizing on clothes right now is terrible. So like some t-shirts still in XL, some perfectly fitting in a large, and some larges make me look like Tim Tebow minus the biceps. And then the fact that some sweaters are a little more form fit, like it doesn't matter, like it could be the same order on Amazon or whatever, but a different color, and one is all hanging all over me, looks like I was a cancer patient, and then one that's like, bro, like you need to go a size up. So that's where I'm at right now, is the fact that just everything just seems to be kind of fitting weird. So that's going to be my last one. My
kind of in between sizes there. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So
all right.
But what I will say is what we are not airing a grievance about is you that have listened to us, and we are grateful for you and hope that you had or have a wonderful Christmas. And we'll be back for the New Year's and right before New Year with another encouragement and maybe some things to be doing and thinking towards as you launch into 2023 and maybe another pandemic or world war. Who knows what's coming next? But we are grateful for you, that we do know, and grateful for this chance to hopefully encourage you. Today, I don't know what this was, but if you listen to this for a brief moment while you are in between in-laws and all of that kind of stuff, oh, that's a grievance. Anyway, we hope somehow it gave you a sequence of joy and happiness and positive thinking.
And now for our feat of strength, we will muster up the courage to walk outside and go about our normal day.
Yeah, for us, we're going ice skating. So, yeah.
Fun.
Well, Kyle, until next time, may your coffee be as black as a New York Yankees soul and as bold as a New York Mets payroll.
What's wrong with you people?